g1 and then king f4, knight d8. I mean, I don't even know what to say about that. He resigned because the knight was coming to e6 and there would have been a checkmate idea there. I'm shocked by the resignation. I'm shocked by the absolutely hanging rook that neither player on the webcam seemed to react to. What did we just look at, Tanya?
He pre-moved. Hikaru pre-moved king to f4, preempting rook g1 check. And Liem, I don't know what he was thinking with rook g2. It's unbelievable. We need like a slow action replay of that moment. That just happened too quick. But look at Hikaru. He's not phased at all. He's completely unbothered by it. And this is one of his biggest skill set, Aman. His ability to reset instantly. He doesn't go on tilt. He just gets ready for the next one.
He definitely does not go on tilt. I will say he's playing an opening that is a true Hikaru special. The move h3 by Quang Liem is played to prevent bishop h3. I can't tell you how many grandmasters and people rated well over 3,000 on chess.com have castled, and after bishop h3, h5, h4 have literally just gotten checkmated, Tanya. So it seems like a gimmick or this joke online system that Hikaru plays, but it works so well that you have to respect it.
Absolutely. I mean, I want to say almost don't try this at home, but Hikaru's shown that he manages to do it every time when he does employ it. And now he's also looking at expansion. On the other side, he's controlled the b5 square, often ideas of rook b8 and advancing that b pawn. And this is what he does, right? He plays these offbeat openings when he's on the behind, when he's trailing in the match. He's trying to avoid all those mainline theories where he knows Liem will know exactly what he wants. He wants a game. He goes immediately for the b5 idea. No more preparation required.
Yeah, none needed. You can play rook b8, but usually you play that move if you have to support b5. Because the reality is, Tanya, after the pawns exchange, you want that rook on the a file. Now, if you can skip rook b8, I think that's just in Hikaru's favor. It looks like he's just got a good version of every opening. This is like a Benoni structure. He doesn't even have to sack the pawn like a Benko gambit. And Quang Liem just has the bishop in front of the pawns here. A bit of a strange situation. Nothing wrong with the position, but I think this is really trending in Hikaru's favor.
He's got the rook beautifully placed on the open A line now, already putting pressure on that a2 pawn. The knight beautifully defends the c5 pawn. And although white also has a very healthy position, we can already see an imbalanced middle game. And I think that's exactly what Hikaru was aiming for in this game too.
Yeah, g4, a little bit of an odd move there. I do understand it. You want to take control of some squares, knight h5, bishop f5, and Hikaru has this look that he's considering, do I play h5? I mean, how do I open the position here? Do I move the knight and play for f5? At this point, I'd be considering any and all options, not to mention pawn takes on b4. Although it kind of walks into this pressure on the c file, it also loosens up the a pawn. Queen b8 indicates pawn takes on b4 is an idea now, but Hikaru knows that he has a pretty good position here, I think.
But he keeps shaking his head. He's not happy about something. Did he just miss that the c5 pawn was hanging? What happened there? Was that a bit of a blind spot as he kind of just calms himself down? It almost felt like pawn takes pawn was a surprise for Hikaru.
Yeah, I'm wondering if pawn c6, the engine's top move here, was a surprise because it feels like Hikaru was expecting that b4 would work a little bit differently and maybe he could take on a2 or recapture on c5. He missed something there. We could just tell by the reaction, but the move g5, I think he's feeling good again. The knight is really secure on h5. a2 pawn is hanging, and white, I was going to say, before that move, Tanya, was still not castled 20 moves into the game.
This is looking really nice for black in this position. Yes, you can pick up that knight with your bishop, but you relinquish the bishop pair advantage for the rest of the game. We've got enough open diagonals. He hits the queen, a2 still under attack. The one source of counterplay for white here, for Liem, is that c5 is hanging, and the knight could take it instantly, putting pressure on the bishop.
Yeah, that pawn is absolutely gone. Queen h4, though, reminds you it's not so easy to take. Not only does a knight need to remain on e4, right, to guard the g pawn, but also the h3 pawn as well is under attack. So queen h4 nestles itself on just a beautiful square. Meanwhile, the a2 pawn is also hanging. So a good way to deal with things, instead of defending the c pawn, attacking 2 more.
Yeah, Hikaru's going on the offense. It might be time for white. I was going to suggest queen f3 to defend h3, but he instead sets up a discovered attack, and there's a big move. Did Hikaru miss knight to d6? The knight on b7 hangs. The queen on h4 is hanging. Queen takes pawn. Knight takes knight. And bishop takes pawn. You've got queen f3 controlling everything.
Yeah, the queen on h4 was a great square. I mean, it really looked like it couldn't have been better. I have to give credit to rook c4, the move that set this all up. You just don't expect this. Hikaru shuffled the king to the side, avoiding knight f6, losing the queen. But knight d6, I mean, loses the knight. You're saving the material here. This is just a much better position. I almost want to say winning, but not quite. I think we're still in complications here, Tanya, but an incredible advantage here for Quang Liem.
Hikaru is playing for tricks now. The position looks almost busted. You're down an entire piece for just 1 pawn, and c5 is incredibly weak as well. It almost looks like there's no attack. There's a rook on f1 hanging, but that's a 1-move threat, Aman. Is Liem about to win his 2nd game in a row?
That would truly be something. I mean, we talked about the best place that Quang needed to perform. It was the 5-minute portion, the 3-minute portion after that. I thought that there was maybe a little bit of unnecessary counterplay with this one. Bishop c3, rook takes a2. I didn't like rook e1. I almost felt like you should have just given up the material there, Tanya.
I think the logic that perhaps tempted him to go rook e1 is he wants to give it up for the dark squared bishop to create weaknesses around the black king. But like you said, it just invites this counterplay with a move like rook takes pawn coming in with the tempo. But now I think Hikaru's also trying to play on Liem's clock, stopping
and this
any
allows
ideas of
rook
a1,
which yeah, exactly. We both pretty much saw it at the exact same time, and I thought, well, technically rook a1 is winning material, but I think Quang is super happy to sacrifice there.
And now Hikaru has to retreat with the other knight. He has to control the a1 square. And look at the coolness with which, Hikaru in some ways just set up that idea. But Liem, he has to be equally calm and find knight b3, a retreating defensive move, but it needs to be played. Rook a1 is a massive threat on the board.
Yeah, exactly right. And I think this, and seeing how Quang Liem handles this position, Tanya, is, I know we're early, but I think it's a really big deal for this entire matchup because he has a better position, a winning position, but does he have the composure down 2 minutes, more than 2 minutes on the clock to find these top moves and secure this advantage?
And look at Hikaru. He doesn't even take a breath with rook a1. He doesn't stop. He had something better, but he's playing the position as much as he's playing the clock. He knows it's really important to keep pressure on those 20 seconds, remaining seconds that Liem has for his chances. Sacrifices the queen. And what a crazy material count. That's a bunch of pieces for the queen. Rook and 2 knights.
Yeah, rook, 2 knights, and I guess not even a pawn for the queen. So what a crazy imbalance. Now, if we're just speaking about the imbalance here, the honest truth is that white is better and should be winning. This is way too much for the queen, but time is going to be a big factor here, and Hikaru is so good at using your low time against you.
It's part of his biggest skill set, right? He does it every time. He puts pressure, but he's hating the position. He'll keep the fight going. He'll try to flag Liem, but that 1 second increment, it counts for something here. Also, the pieces are beautifully placed. Everything defends each other. He's now attacking the e7 pawn. If the d5 pawn becomes a passer, that's game over.
Yep, Hikaru is just setting up a few tricks here, as he should. This is how you have to play queen g5 if the rook captures on e7.
He's so tricky. You've got to be super alert. I'm so impressed with the composure Liem showing on camera. Playing on 10 seconds now.
Yeah, dropping the d-pawn, though. Things are getting a little bit murky. I'm concerned here. He's falling for a lot of tactics all of a sudden. Hikaru is so tricky.
And Hikaru's back in the game just like that. He's got a queen and pawn for 3 minor pieces. And usually the minor pieces, if they've got support, if they're able to build an attack against the king, they're stronger. But I think in this position, it's just very healthy. Look at that. Bishop takes pawn, queen d1 check would win the... What?
Yep.
He just won the
Yeah,
knight.
that it was a forced tactic. He missed e5. He didn't bring the pieces back. Honestly, there might still be decent drawing chances. I say decent, but this should be a win for Hikaru. Let's see how he converts it. What did we talk about? Hikaru, so resourceful, so tricky, and down on time with only plus 1 second increment, not able to handle things was Le Quang Liem. Amazing by Hikaru to win that game, Tanya.